The 2024 U.S. presidential election is here, and the political landscape is heating up. Former President Donald Trump is a dominant force in the race, commanding significant attention and support. However, his campaign is clouded by a familiar shadow, unfounded claims of election fraud, which have become a recurring theme in his political narrative. Trump continues to make baseless allegations about the integrity of the electoral process, despite a lack of evidence to support his claims. He insists that the 2020 election was stolen from him, a claim that has been widely discredited. These claims have been repeatedly debunked by election officials and courts across the country who have found no evidence of widespread fraud. Despite this, Trump's rhetoric continues to resonate with a segment of the population, fueling distrust and division. This casts a long shadow over the 2024 election and threatens to undermine public trust in the democratic process, a cornerstone of American society. Trump's claims of election fraud are not new. They have been a part of his political strategy for years. He voiced comparable claims preceding the 2016 vote, implying that the electoral process was manipulated to his disadvantage. Back then, he suggested that the election would be rigged against him, creating a narrative of victimhood and distrust. However, he emerged victorious in 2016, which temporarily quelled his claims of fraud. This time, his claims of a stolen election have taken on a more sinister tone. With far-reaching consequences, they have fueled a dangerous movement that threatens the very foundations of American democracy, leading to events like the January 6th Capitol riot. Trump's refusal to accept the results of the 2020 election has had a profound impact on American politics, deepening divisions and eroding trust. It has deepened the partisan divide and eroded public trust in democratic institutions, making it harder to find common ground. His supporters remain convinced that the election was stolen, while his detractors view him as a threat to democracy, creating a polarized and contentious environment. This deep polarization makes it difficult to have a rational conversation about election integrity, as emotions run high on both sides. As the 2024 election is now here, it is essential to be aware of the dangers posed by Trump's unfounded claims of election fraud, which could have lasting impacts on the democratic process. These claims are not based in reality, but they have the power to influence public perception and behavior. They are a dangerous attempt to undermine democracy and sow distrust in the electoral process, which could lead to further instability. It is up to all Americans to reject these baseless claims and defend the integrity of our elections, ensuring that the democratic process remains fair and transparent for future generations. The role of conservative media in amplifying Trump's baseless claims of election fraud cannot be overstated. These media outlets have become a megaphone for misinformation, echoing and amplifying false narratives that undermine the democratic process. Right-wing media outlets, including Fox News and Newsmax, have provided a platform for Trump and his allies to spread their misinformation. These channels have given airtime to unfounded allegations, often without providing the necessary context or counterpoints that would allow viewers to critically assess the information. These outlets often prioritize partisan loyalty over journalistic integrity. The focus is frequently on maintaining viewer loyalty and catering to their audience's pre-existing beliefs rather than presenting balanced and fact-based reporting. They have repeatedly aired segments that lack factual basis, further fueling the flames of distrust in the electoral process. This continuous stream of misinformation creates an echo chamber where falsehoods are reinforced and become accepted as truth by their audience. Conservative media has played a key role in shaping the narrative around the 2020 election for Republican voters. By consistently presenting a one-sided view, they have influenced the perceptions and beliefs of millions of Americans. Many of these voters rely on these outlets as their primary source of information. This reliance means that they are often not exposed to differing viewpoints or factual corrections, leading to a skewed understanding of events. As a result, they are often exposed to a distorted view of reality, one in which Trump is the victim of a vast conspiracy to steal the election. This narrative has been perpetuated despite numerous investigations and court rulings that have found no evidence of widespread fraud. The consequences of this misinformation campaign are far-reaching. It has not only eroded trust in the electoral process, but has also deepened divisions within American society. It has led to a significant erosion of trust in traditional media outlets. Many people now view these sources with suspicion, believing them to be biased or untrustworthy. It has also contributed to the rise of political polarization and extremism. The spread of false information has made it more difficult for people to find common ground or engage in constructive dialogue. In this environment, it is increasingly difficult to have a reasoned debate about important issues. The spread of misinformation has created a climate where facts are often overshadowed by emotions and partisan rhetoric. The spread of misinformation by conservative media is a serious threat to American democracy. It undermines the foundational principles of informed citizenry and fair elections. It is essential to hold these outlets accountable for their role in undermining public trust in the electoral process. Media organizations must be responsible for the information they disseminate and should be held to high standards of accuracy and fairness. It is also crucial to support independent, fact-based journalism that can provide a counterweight to the misinformation being spread by partisan outlets. By promoting and consuming reliable news sources, we can help restore trust in the media and ensure a well-informed public. Republican officials and MAGA activists have adopted a multi-pronged legal strategy aimed at challenging election results. This strategy has involved filing a barrage of lawsuits alleging voter fraud, introducing restrictive voting laws in several states, and pressuring state legislatures to overturn election outcomes. These actions are not isolated incidents, but part of a broader, coordinated effort. These efforts, often based on flimsy evidence and fueled by partisan interests, further erode public trust in the electoral system. The constant barrage of claims and counterclaims creates a cloud of uncertainty. The GOP's legal strategy is often characterized by a scorched earth approach. They file numerous lawsuits even if they have little chance of success. The sheer volume of these legal challenges can overwhelm the system. The goal is not necessarily to win these lawsuits, but to create the impression that the election was rife with irregularities. The strategy has been effective in sowing doubt about the integrity of the electoral process. The constant questioning of results undermines confidence in democratic institutions. Many Republican voters now believe that the system is rigged against them. This belief is not just a passing sentiment, but a deeply ingrained conviction. This belief has led to a decline in voter turnout among Republicans in some areas. When people lose faith in the system, they are less likely to participate. It has also made it more difficult to ensure the peaceful transfer of power after elections. The very fabric of democratic governance is at risk. The GOP's legal strategy is a dangerous escalation of partisan warfare. It turns the courts into battlegrounds for political disputes. It is an attempt to use the courts to overturn the will of the voters. This undermines the principle that elections should be decided by ballots. not by judges. This is a threat to the very foundations of American democracy. The integrity of the electoral process is essential for the health of the nation. The relentless barrage of misinformation surrounding the 2020 election has taken a significant toll on public trust in the U.S. electoral system. A recent poll by the Pew Research Center found that only 55% of Americans are confident that elections are conducted fairly and accurately. This represents a sharp decline from previous years and highlights the corrosive impact of disinformation on democratic norms. The erosion of public trust in elections is a serious problem. When people lose faith in the democratic process, they are less likely to participate in it. This can lead to lower voter turnout, which can have a significant impact on election outcomes. The decline in public trust in elections is also fueling political polarization. People are more likely to believe information that confirms their existing biases. This is particularly true when it comes to information about elections. As a result, people on opposite sides of the political spectrum are increasingly living in different realities. The erosion of public trust in elections is a threat to American democracy. It is essential to restore faith in the electoral process. This will require a concerted effort from elected officials, the media, and the public.